Hello, and welcome to Recapping with Delora
and Ashley.
Please follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at ReCapping Podcast.
Also, rate, review, and subscribe to our show on your favorite podcast platform. We're on all the things.
We want to hear your thoughts on the movies and shows we review.
Leave us a comment on Apple Podcasts or our YouTube channel, and we will read them during the show.
Or reach out to us on social media. We love talking all things entertainment and pop culture with you.
Thank you guys so much for listening.
Thank you.
You know, it just dawned on me. I've been clean and sober on this podcast now for a while. I don't remember the last time I've cracked open a bottle of wine, had me some spirits or anything on the podcast. What about you? I feel like we used to talk about our different little drinks and we just kind of fell off.
Yeah, that's because we were nervous as fuck.
That is facts. It was definitely liquid courage at the very beginning. I think like the second episode, whichever the Nola Holmes was, I was drunk. Like, I think I was drunk on that one. Because I remember listening back to it, I was like, I was on fire.
Let's think about it, okay? So we were starting this new thing, putting our voices out into the ether, right? Just wondering who's gonna listen to it outside of our immediate friends and family, if that.
Yes. If not just us, just laughing and giggling. I'll be listening to an episode in front of people and they'll be like, why are you smiling? I'll be like, I'm listening to the podcast. Like, I am one of our biggest fans. You know what I'm saying? Like, I thoroughly enjoy our conversations, but I guess hopefully that's how you have to be in order to continue and again have passion about what you're doing. Because as we've talked about so many times, if we didn't have the passion for this, it would get tiring to do week after week after week. Which, speaking of, guys, welcome back. So sorry we had to take a little break last week. You know, sometimes life gets in the way, but we do our best to get back with you ASAP. So here we are. And Delora, remember how in one of the most recent episodes we were talking about these shows that everybody has talked about, it's popular, but we just haven't gotten into. Like, we talked about Breaking Bad. I was just getting the Snowfall. So yet another show that is super popular. I'm on my third trying for this show, and that is Succession.
I knew you were going to say it.
Delora, it's rough for me. Like, I don't get the hype. I feel like I would 3.
If I watch it.
I'm on episode 3 of season 2, and I'm like, what is everybody talking about? I still don't get it.
To be fair, one of our favorites, Game of Thrones, my girlfriend Aaliyah, my BFF, she literally was like, keep going. I'm like, why is this woman in the desert and she has eggs? Why do I care? And then with like Jon Snow, I'm like, why do I care about this moody little boy? Like, I don't care about any of these people. It's like, keep going. And so obviously the payoff came, but I understand what you're saying. Like, if it's taking me season 2 to join the bandwagon, I don't think I need to be on here.
I think what's rough for me too, because speaking of Game of Thrones, we had the big shocker with in season 1, which, spoiler alert for anybody at this point who has not seen the original Game of Thrones series with Ned Stark in season 1, right?
Yes.
There's nothing for me that's reeling me in. Like, I don't love any of these characters. I'm not rooting for anybody. It really feels like, who can the patriarch of the family humiliate the worst in this episode? Like, that's what it's feeling like to me. And these rich, entitled white people, it doesn't move me. You know what I'm saying? It's like a cliche at this point. So unless you're giving me something that I haven't seen before, or there's some type of real scandal, like, it just, there's the kid who does drugs. There's the one who has affairs. There's the one who just literally ain't shit. Like, it's just nothing new for me that this show is giving me personally. Maybe the performances are going to grow on me and I'm going to be like, oh my God, that was amazing. But I'm not there. So Succession fans, please let me know what episode you hit where you were like, this is my show. Because I'm not there yet.
Fair.
We'll see if I ever get there, guys. Stay tuned. All right. Well, it's Thursday, which means it's time to talk about what's going on in these pop culture streets with some quick headlines and some hot topics. I'm not going to lie to you. It was a struggle to figure out what it was that we should talk about today. Because I'm like, the biggest headlines, and I even put this in our chat, the biggest headlines are not pop culture related, right? Like the main things people are talking about right now is the LSU Iowa situation. And then those one people's president who got arrested, not mine, those one people's. So,
I've been Diana Ross. Can you feel the brand new day? Brand new day.
And I've been over here like, let me mind my Black business, because unless there is a conviction and he's serving time, I really don't want to hear about this much. I really don't. And Van Jones, bye.
Girl.
Bye, sir.
It was how Anderson Cooper looked at him. They had me.
Me and Anderson would have dinner first. That's where we're at.
Absolutely. 1000%.
So let's get into our planned discussion real quick. So first up, Reese Witherspoon has filed for divorce from her husband, Jim Toth, of 12 years. This was, I want to say last week, I believe. They announced a joint statement on Instagram saying that they had some personal news to share. It's with a great deal of care and consideration that we've made the difficult decision to divorce. We have enjoyed so many wonderful years together and are moving forward with deep love, kindness, and mutual respect for everything we've created together. They are going for joint custody of their son that they share. And this obviously was Reese's second marriage. As we know, she was married previously to Ryan Phillippe. When this news dropped, I was surprised, but at the same time, I was like, wait, do I care about Reese Witherspoon's love life at this point? Like, because her career has been so white hot with her production and her production company, like I haven't focused on like her personal life. Like I don't even pay attention to headlines about her personal life. So I think that's what made it shocking, is like, I don't even know what's been going on with her in that regard. What about you? Not to say I don't care. That sounds harsh. I just mean like, it didn't feel like it was my business, right?
Yeah.
Like that.
So when it comes to Reese, always rooting for her, love her, adore her. It came as a shock because it's kind of like that thing in Hollywood where, yes, we didn't hear about a relationship because she married a regular guy. You know what I mean? And so...
Well, regular in the sense that he's not an actor. He's still a talent agent. So he's still industry adjacent stuff.
But I guess in terms of he's not in front of the camera, right?
Correct. So,
but I was rooting for her in the second relationship because the first one, Ryan being jealous and everything, I was like, we ain't got time for that.
At least that's the rumor. She fell right in line with that curse of once you hit that peak
Oscar,
then your personal
relationship.
Her, Sandra Bullock, Hilary Swank, Halle Berry.
Yep. Damn.
Yep. Yes, ma'am. It's a list.
Woo. And so, I'm saddened to hear that. She lives in, where does she live? Like Nashville part-time or something like that?
So, because she was a part of the home edit first season show, which we love. We should love.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I think she'll be all right. Either way, I almost wonder, you're talking about her career. Her career is on fire. She's out here.
Yeah.
I follow her book club. And then, of course, that translates into some shows and movies that we love. And, she's doing a lot. And so to have this announcement in the midst of all that, it's kind of like, oh, I hope she's doing all right and being able to enjoy the good that's going on in her life, even though, her relationship is coming to an end.
Yeah. At least it's not messy, to your point, because you know, you have like the Jason Sudeikis, Olivia Wilde situation as a comparison, right? And how messy that's been when Jason has been at such a career high with Ted Lasso, and wondering how you balance between that and what's going on with your personal life. At least this hopefully seems like it's amicable. It's going on behind the scenes, whatever that may be. And from articles I've read, it seems like she's doing well. I read something about she has a great support system, all this and that. And I mean, she's Reese freaking Witherspoon. Like everyone adores her. Exactly. So I'm sure she does. Hopefully they'll both move on and be just fine. You know, like Drew Barrymore seems like she had such a beautiful divorce, if one can have a beautiful divorce, from her husband. Yeah. So I hope for the same dynamic for Reese.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We'll see what happens. But girl, on the career front, yes, Miss Reese Witherspoon is doing her damn thing.
Listen.
So wishing them both the very best. Let's move on to our second quick headline. Girl, this Barbie movie trailer that dropped this week. Can I tell you, I am officially excited. I've had no feelings about this before this trailer. And after seeing it and seeing all of the cast and all these different Barbies and Kens, I'm excited. How'd you feel about it when the Barbie movie trailer and all the subsequent posters of everybody hit these internets?
It is the right amount of nonsense that I need in my life. It's absolutely unserious, and I'm here for it. It's the her stepping out of her shoes for me scene where I was just like, oh, we're going there. I'm ready.
You know what most excited me at the end was Emma Mackey, her doppelganger, also being in this damn movie.
Yo, Ashley, that was one of my points I had. I was like, can we talk about the person that we mix up Margot Robbie with all the time being in the same freaking movie?
Yes. Yes.
That and 3 people from the cast of Sex Education that's on Netflix is in this movie, which I adore as well.
Yeah.
I am just loving everything from Dua Lipa with this fake mermaid wig to Issa being somebody's president. I'm like, absolutely.
Issa is our fave. Ivy. Her poster is the only poster I posted on our story. She's the one.
I am also very much excited about C-Movie and Nicola from Bridgerton. Like, I'm so excited. It's just
I love the diversity. Like, I love that they incorporated this level of diversity.
Yes, I agree. I was gonna say Kinsley is on there too. You go from Malcolm X to Ken.
Don't say that man ain't got range, okay?
Exactly.
So, you know, I didn't know about this whole thing of Amy Schumer originally was supposed to be the Barbie that Margot Robbie is playing. I didn't know anything about that. I was today years old.
Yeah. And I'm grateful that, you know, sometimes scripts get passed along and, you know,
well, she basically said that the way she wanted to do it was not the way they wanted to do it. She had a very specific way in mind that she wanted to do it. And it's not to say that I don't think Amy Schumer would have come into the movie and killed it, but I think the way that Margot Robbie is possibly going to be able to portray it is going to be so much more like deer in the headlights. And so it's going to be like interesting to see, because the way that the trailer alludes, we're stepping Barbie into the real world. So like, what does that mean?
Mm-hmm.
And so instead of it being super comedic or slapsticky the way some of Amy Schumer's performances are, I think Margot Robbie's take may be a little bit more like unexpected for me. I'll say that. But I'm excited. This movie drops July 21st, and I may actually go to the theater and watch this movie.
I'm super excited. And one of my favorite tweets was something like, everyone's trying to figure out the plot. They were like, we don't need to know the plot right now. Like, that's not the point. And I'm like, exactly. Like, I'm just excited for all the aesthetics. It's going to be a lot of fun, and I'm here for it.
It's definitely going to be a lot of fun. But when I tell you the only movies I was planning on seeing in theaters this year was The Little Mermaid.
Yes.
And whatever Marvel was going to do. next for me. Otherwise, I had nothing else
What's
like on my
next
hit
on the
list.
roster?
Little Mermaid is coming out
No,
soon.
Marvel.
I don't know, because now
I'm more interested.
They just had that lady, that
plus.
major executive who just left. I don't know. I'm not sure.
Interesting.
But
the shows are going to be more interesting than the movies at this rate, I feel like, because they have Samuel L. Speaking of
talking about how do you say Samuel Jackson?
Samuel Jackson. Never in my life said Samuel L. Jackson.
Yeah, it runs. It's a run along. It's a run along for all of us.
You know who I'm talking about?
Exactly.
And he will respond. He would respond.
He knows what it is. All right, Delora, let's move on to our next headline. I have seen this everywhere. This evolution that Blac Chyna is undergoing. I don't even think we've ever talked about Blac Chyna for real on the podcast before. But
Angela White.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Let me call her by her name because she does not want to be referenced as Blac Chyna anymore. Okay. And I'm sorry, Dr. Angela Renee White, if her doctorate degree is legitimate, which has been called into question by BuzzFeed and some other outlets. But yeah, Blac Chyna most recently earned her doctorate from the Sacramento Theological Seminary and Bible College. She was baptized last year in 2022, and she's been undergoing a physical transformation as well, taking out fillers in her face, taking out things she's done to augment her body with her breasts and her butt and all these various things, and getting off of OnlyFans, which was a major source of revenue for her, apparently, millions of dollars.
$2 million to be exact.
So my question for you with bringing this up is, do you think that the public is going to allow her to step away from this Blac Chyna image that she's had so far in her career? Do you think the public is going to let her evolve, even if she is evolving behind the scenes?
Well, that's a great question. And to that, I will say, I was way too grown to learn this lesson, and I feel like I'm still learning this lesson, but we have the power to tell people who we are. So as long as she is firm in who she is, and she has a platform to state who she is, she's going to be Angela White. Now, what I will say is, what I was not expecting in this transformation from Angela was that demonic tattoo removal. I was like, bitch, what? You had the entire satanic figure on your body?
Yeah. I didn't know anything about her tattoos until she put that out there. And even when she posted her baptism video and saying you can hear the spirits leaving her body, I was like, woo, chills. That's deep.
Yo. I didn't know how deep it went. And so because of that, she's Angela White. Angela White, formerly known as Blac Chyna, whatever you want to do it. But I'm rooting for her because she didn't go into detail on why she got that tattoo. She just simply stated, oh, it meant something different for me when I got it. But I'm like, thinking about our Lil Nas X conversation for back several years ago, we don't play with the devil,
right?
No, and his things and his symbols. We don't know.
I was even uncomfortable watching the show Lucifer. Okay, be honest.
I mean, the fact that they said his name so many times, it's like, okay, I don't need this in my life.
Yeah. Rebuking all of it. But I agree with you on like rooting for her. I've never really heavily invested. I didn't even watch the reality show with her and Rob. Like, I've never really paid attention outside of the headlines I've seen about her. But I'm rooting for her. For one, she's a Black woman. I root for all of us. For two, I agree with you that she has every right to tell people this is the path that I'm now on, no matter what she has done prior to this. This is the path that I'm now on. And hey, there's been multiple celebrities who have found faith and chosen to walk a different path.
Yes.
I immediately think
Yes.
like Mace, who was in Bad Boys and was a
Prince.
rapper and then became a pastor. You know, there's been multiple
Yes.
folks who went down a similar journey and changed their lives in ways that they feel were for the better and necessary. So absolutely rooting for her if this is what she wants to do, and hopefully will be in the best interest of her and her children. So
Absolutely. And, you know, honestly, I hate to say it, but once you get an idea of what her home life was and things like that, she really didn't have the support. And so now, you know better, you do better. So
yeah, when you have to have public beefs with your parents and stuff, that always just, you know, Lindsay Lohan went through that with both her parents. Like, it always seems like it's tough when you don't come from that great parental structure.
Absolutely.
Tough, because the celebrity life is insanity. So wishing you the best, Angela. All right, Delora, our next quick headline. Donald Glover, in this GQ interview he did, left many a tidbit, but one of the biggest ones that I want to get your thoughts on is him mentioning that Tina Fey confirmed this man was a diversity hire for 30 Rock.
Yep.
Have not heard any word back from Tina as of yet, but apparently Tina told him that, yes, you were hired in large part because you were Black. She admires his talent, but funds from NBC's diversity initiative made that man free. Okay, Delora, give me your thoughts, baby.
Guess who is up against?
Oh, I know. Kenya Barris. I was going to get there. I wanted to get your thoughts first on just how would you feel to have someone, especially of Tina Fey's stature, confirm something like that for you early in your career, let's be honest, and already you had these seeds of doubt about you belonging in this room with these people. Like, he was talking about the fact that he had stress dreams, you know, because he didn't feel like he belonged. So what do you think about her even telling him that?
We are both products of corporate America, you and I.
Yep.
And because of that, if somebody were to tell you that you were a diversity hire, it is unfortunately something that is a high probability. Even if you're more qualified than your boss, which has happened in my life. At the end of the damn day, you might have gotten the job because of diversity. And I say that to say, I'm thinking of Hamilton. I'm not going to throw away my shot, right? So it's like, you got in the room, so what you going to do with it? You know what I mean? And he has done a lot in his career despite being a diversity hire. He didn't allow that to create such negativity that it hindered his ability to do more. And, you know, does it suck? Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. But sometimes nepotism is not on your side. And therefore...
that old boys network.
Yeah, sometimes.
That Succession-ish. Because again, what I'm seeing, it's wild.
And again, it takes me being an adult to realize it's all about the network at the end of the damn day.
It is. I'm still so on the fence about this, though. I guess to me, it comes down to how close of a relationship they had at the time that she told him this, because some things may just be better left unsaid. Like, I think honesty is great, especially when it's appropriate and it's uplifting or it's helpful, especially in a career aspect. But if this was not in her mind somehow going to motivate him or, you know, empower him in some way, I don't understand why you would tell him that. Because to me, it could have done damage to his psyche to such where he may not have made it to the levels that he's made it to. Thankfully, he had the resilience and the strength and the fortitude and, you know, the talent, because let's be honest, he has the talent to be there. But that imposter syndrome situation is real, and you can put a lot of self-doubt and things that, you know, cause you to not reach the levels you want to reach. So I'm still kind of on the fence. I've never had any issues with Tina Fey, but when I saw this, I was like, girl, was this absolutely necessary to say?
Well, I wonder if it's one of those things, especially in liberal circles where it's like a woman talking to
You
a
not
person of
black.
color.
You not black.
And therefore
You not
we're
black.
having a heart to heart, a kumbaya.
Nope.
Let's fight the system together.
You not black, ma'am. And I say that with my entire chest.
But
there needs
I
to be some
understand what you're
level of
saying,
recognition of a difference in struggles.
like, what were her original intentions, right?
Yes, I
Yeah,
need to
that's
know.
fair.
What
But do
were
you
you
understand where I'm
hoping?
coming from?
I
Where it's
absolutely
like,
do. Yeah.
it's unfortunately something that we live. It's a fact of life. Unfortunately, being
Yes.
a Black person in corporate America, especially if you're making your way, through the ranks. Goodness gracious.
Yeah. It's
It's
definitely
gross,
real. It's
but
real. We know it's real. I'm just saying, if my boss confirmed this to me, if my boss, in the early days of my career was like, yeah, so we think you're pretty good, but to be honest, you're only on this team because we needed a Black person. Like,
well, unfortunately, it's in some cases it makes sense, especially on how they pay us through the years. You know what I mean? Like, the Black woman to the dollar
yes.
type of deal, or the Latina lady, women to the dollar. So it's shown in other areas, so
yeah, they try to show us what they feel we're worth. But about this whole Kenya Barris situation, and Kenya saying that he hated Donald for years because Donald got this opportunity over him.
Interesting.
You think that was petty of Kenya?
Yes. You're in Hollywood. Everyone knows that it's not solely off of talent.
I'd say, Kenya, you're doing, you did all right. You did all right.
Maybe he was like Jordan and needed motivation. I don't know.
Yeah, that level of petty that Jordan was on.
petty.
Yeah.
Yeah. Making up beefs to keep you motivated. I'm not motivated. Like, I need sunshine and rainbows. Like, I can't be motivated by angst like that. Not anymore.
I don't share that mentality of like, I need to compete with someone else to rise to my best. Like, I need
me versus me, baby.
Yeah, I have to keep it internal, because when I start focusing on other people, that's when I'm not at my best.
Exactly.
For sure. All right, Delora, our last quick headline. Gayle King is all about this shmoney. Do you hear me? Gayle King, according to various outlets, is set to become the highest paid employee with CNN as she nears a deal for $12 million a year for a primetime talk show alongside Charles Barkley. This comes alongside news, though, that Gayle says she has no intentions of leaving CBS. She still has 2 years left on her contract. And let's be honest, CBS ain't trying to lose Gayle. Okay?
She's the network at this rate.
Would you be
at the network?
She is. Would you be excited to see a primetime show on CNN with Gayle King and Charles Barkley? It seemed like a little bit of an odd coupling when I was reading about it.
Very much an odd coupling. I mean, let's face it, CNN is going through a weird phase right now. A lot of people would say that it's because they're moving slightly right from the center to, pick up the Fox viewer, because Fox may be going up in flames soon.
When that lawsuit hit.
And I think it's interesting that they want a star. They lost Como. Yeah. Don Lemon is in trouble. Is dropping the ball a bit. And I think Gayle is a phenomenal journalist. And when it comes to Charles Barkley, I think he's charismatic enough to make this situation. And I would check in just to see like what this show is going to be about, frankly. I told you I got a chance to meet him. He was one of the first famous people I've ever met.
That's funny. How was it looking up at him?
It was like, how's the air up there, sir? But it was like, he was the first famous person that I realized that if they don't want to come off as, pompous, he'll be like, because I was like, hi, my name's Delora. And he's like, hi, I'm Charles Barkley. His hands were so soft. I was like,
okay, moisturizing.
Yes. I'm like, okay, I'm manicurist.
You know who the first famous person I met was?
Who?
Ray J.
Not my one wish.
Bruh, we met Ray J at like Knott's Berry Farm back in the 90s. This was early. This was Brandy's still singing.
Brother.
Yeah, still singing the first album, girl. And we have a picture to this day. I was not happy. I was looking so upset. And Ray J asked his little friend to be in the picture too. But I was upset because I had just found out that I was missing an Immature concert back home. And I was pissed because I was in love with Marcus Houston back in the day.
Oh my gosh.
Even though he married a child. So.
A 19-year-old.
Yeah. Talking about we didn't speak or anything till she was of age. How
and he was like,
you have a
friends.
watch?
You're 40 and she's 19.
Do you have a watch monitoring the day she turned 18? That you know for a fact that him, Tyga, like there's a whole little cluster of them that I'm just like, I'm confused. Y'all are around you have access to so many people, so many women. Why do y'all go after kids?
Children.
That's a whole nother conversation. Anyway.
Back to Charles. Again, he was so much fun to watch during the 90s during basketball. Especially with his rivalry with Jordan and everything. And I've enjoyed his career as a commentator. So I feel like it'll be interesting. But I think Gayle is a great face for a network. I think it's interesting also that she's like, I love that she knows her power. It was like, you can have me for 12 million, but I still got my job over here.
Yeah, because her next CBS contract is about to be wild, I think.
Insane. Gayle's a friend of the pod. So, I'm excited for her to get that money.
Absolutely. Girl, that's amazing. Do your thing, Gayle. All right, Laura, let's get into these hot topics. We have two. The first one, in the trial that has fascinated many. And the verdict surprised none. Maybe only the man who had filed the lawsuit.
Yes.
Gwyneth Paltrow has been found not at fault in a ski crash trial that lasted for 2 weeks. A retired optometrist sued Gwyneth, alleging her reckless skiing left him with lasting brain trauma that has negatively affected his life. Delora, this was available to live stream throughout its entirety. I was seeing all the things on social media about who should play the lawyers in the adaptation of this trial. That is inevitable.
Do we want Ryan Murphy to do this?
It should absolutely, first of all, it should absolutely. And if Gwyneth does not come in and parody some version of herself in it, I would be highly disappointed. But I've seen Marissa Tomei as the lawyer. Hollywood is going to have a field day with this at some point in time. It's inevitable. This was such a farce. I didn't even follow the trial, but just seeing some of the footage, I'm like, this is ridiculous. Why was this not thrown out? Why did this even go to trial? This happened back in 2016, guys.
Yep.
Did you watch any of this?
This was the waspiest court case I've ever seen in my entire life. And I don't even know if waspy is even the appropriate term because it was very white. Don't get me wrong. But it's like rich white too, right? Like, so what's that term? I don't even know because it's like, it's above me now. Like, why am I watching this? Storms are raging our country, and we're talking about a man unable to drink wine because, quote unquote, Gwyneth Paltrow hit him on his ski trip. Man, oh man, did I watch the trial? I did not watch the trial. I was aware the trial was going on. I enjoyed some of the internet's interpretation of his lawyer in particular, because the asking, "Are you friends with Taylor Swift?" and I mean, like, are you fangirling while you're cross-examining Gwyneth Paltrow? Like, and then it's the juror after it was all over. She's like, I didn't feel like Gwyneth had any need to lie.
I read that. She said this was not about just her being a celebrity. This is about the facts. I'm sure it was, but at the end of the day, seeing Gwyneth Paltrow in court is going to have an effect.
It was different. I have to say, I was interested on what she was wearing each day. I was like,
People are hilarious. Why did he only go for $300,000? Why not ask for a cool $1 million? If you're going to go for it, go for it.
Because he was petty, and because he obviously got it. Like, you know what I mean? That's another thing too. It's like he wanted the attention. And I think one of my favorite internet interpretation of what happened was when she was like, "I wish you well," was the equivalent of "Tell Cersei it was me."
Is that what she went over and told him? Because I didn't see, like, they said she went over and said something to him, but that's what she said. "I wish you well."
Yes.
Game of Thrones reference yet again, guys.
And you know what he said? "Thank you, dear."
Very strange.
Very.
Well, Gwyneth is walking away with $1, as well as her legal fees.
Yeah.
So, I guess this matter is resolved until Hollywood does, like I said, its adaptation and dramatizes it even more than what the circus was already. Now, whose court case you think is going to come first, though? This one or the Johnny Depp Amber Heard trial? Or is it going to be a series that tackles all these type of ridiculous celebrity trials?
First of all, this one is definitely coming out first, because the Johnny Depp Amber Heard, there's multiple trials overseas and over here. You know what I mean? So that also needs time to marinate. This one could be up in no time. I give it about a year or two.
I agree with your assessment that this should be a Ryan Murphy production. So Netflix, go ahead and hop on this limited series. All right. Our last hot topic. This is one that I was not looking forward to discussing at all, because we have talked about this man extensively. We have been rooting for him in his career. And this was something I didn't even really fall deep into once the charges came out, because I was like, I'm gonna give this a minute. I'm gonna let this breathe a little bit and see what comes out. So guys, I'm talking about Jonathan Majors. And I'm sure you're all aware by now that he was in an alleged altercation with his girlfriend in New York a couple of weeks ago. He was arrested and charged with strangulation, assault, and harassment. His lawyers have come out and said that he is entirely innocent, that he has done nothing wrong, that they look forward to clearing his name. But subsequently, he has not been, no charges have been dropped. And his lawyer released text messages between him and his girlfriend that for some reason they seem to think were going to be helpful, but based on public opinion, seem to be quite hurtful. I saw a headline that Jonathan Majors has already been found guilty in the court of public opinion. Delora, what were your thoughts when this news came out? And do you think that even if he is subsequently found innocent of these charges, that his career will be able to recover?
Man, when I saw the news, I just looked at my phone and I just closed it. I was like, Tyra Banks, America's Next Top Model. That was the first reaction. My second reaction was, okay, let this you know, let's see what happens, because you never know. It's been 2 weeks now, and things haven't really moved in any type of positive way for him. And
Mm-hmm.
therefore, it's like, damn. And it's more of the disappointment of, I guess, who you thought he was, obviously, right? Not, this has no reflection on how I feel about the victim. I am so saddened of the abuse that he has put upon her, if this comes out to be true. And my other hope is, in the event that this is, he comes clean and everything like that, you almost wonder if the woman made these allegations to hurt him because he was riding so high. Like, he was in another stratosphere, Ashley. Like, his star was flaming hot.
Yes.
And the way that these allegations douse that, uh, is just, it also looks bad, frankly, on like his lawyer making all these claims. But I'm like, you're making all these claims, but the court system is still moving. Like, I haven't seen anything to make these go away, especially compared to, let's think about these type of incidents that we've talked about in the past. That Ricky Martin incident. I mean, by the end of that week, it was like, nope, all charges have been dropped. Tiffany Haddish. And unfortunately, she's an example of trying to make a comeback, and it's going to be a long road, unfortunately. And I feel like that'll definitely be the case for him too. Now, what I will say is, over time, if this were to come out to be not true, he may be able to still have a career, because people are like, oh my goodness, the whole MCU is around his character. But there have been allegations against the gentleman who played
The
the
Flash.
Flash, but Avengers Endgame, the Snap, Josh, what is his name? Josh Brolin.
Mm-hmm.
He's had some allegations in the past, but we somehow forgot about those. So I feel like it is Hollywood, and he might be able to make a recovery, but I don't know. I don't know. It's just saddening, and it's sickening, and it's like, I hate being I hate being disappointed, but he is just a man, so what
Yes.
can you say?
I definitely struggled, like I said, when this news first broke, in terms of being saddened if this is true, and the circumstances as they were portrayed when I was reading about it turned out to be true. And at this point, there's been nothing that really has made me feel like it's not true, especially now seeing those text messages. It doesn't read well. It reads like it could be a pattern of abuse, and that is very unfortunate. But I do think that in terms of like celebrity culture and all of that, I don't take things the same as I once did after Chris Brown. Like when the Chris Brown Rihanna situation happened back in the day, I was a huge Chris Brown fan, and I remember not believe it. I was like, no, there's no way. There has to be a mistake. There has to be a
Yeah.
mistake. It took
And then
me
those
reading
pictures.
that police report first. This is what I did first, is I read the police report before the pictures even released. I read because
Whoa.
I was a huge fan. I was like, I got to see it. So I read the police report first, and then the images dropped, and I was like, oh. And I was, it was crushing. It was
Yeah,
crushing.
absolutely.
So I don't think I've been, since then, I don't think I have been so invested in any celebrity that any of these things are that sad to me anymore, because I realize I don't know these people. I can't vouch for any of these people. And to your point, he's still just a man, but it's definitely disappointing just based on who we thought he appeared to be and the trajectory that he seemed to be on in terms of his career and his talents, right? But when I was seeing these articles now and reading, there have been other, not even whispers, allegations about him
Yeah.
being abusive. Somebody even
Yep.
called him like a sociopath and all these things.
Yep.
So, to what extent any of that is true, can't say.
Right.
But I
Uh
think even if he is found innocent of this, it's going to be difficult for him to recover, because the court of public opinion, there's still going to be things that are out there.
yeah, and to the Josh Brolin, it was when he was married to Diane Lane, and I was back in
Mm,
2004. and he got arrested to $20,000 worth of bail. So it's, anyway, I just say that to say, use him as an example of like, he's since been able to bounce back after something like that, and she was famous. So I don't know.
They both are. They're both
exactly
actors, but
so
the public picks and chooses who they allow to be redeemed from situations.
Yeah.
And it's not usually as easy for us. So there's that. Not to say that in this case it should be if you're abusing women. So we'll see how this matter resolves. We'll keep an eye on it and we'll follow up once we know more, guys. So Delora, thank you so much. That's it for our Thursday episode.
Great job, Ashley.
Thank you, ma'am. What are we recapping for the people for next week?
Ashley, we are recapping our very first Jordan Peele film. Nope. 2022's smash hit. It's going to be a fun conversation.
All right, guys. We will see you then. In the meantime, be blessed.
Bye.